videos about some of the video games I've collected so far. So here's kind of sticking together. So here's what I've got so far in Metal Gear Solid. This one, which is a weird copy. So here's the copy of Metal Gear Solid 1 on PlayStation. I don't have the NES version of Metal Gear, and I obviously don't have any of the versions, the original versions on the console. Well, or computer. The obscure... I can't even think of the name of it, but that's what the Metal Gear 1 and 2 were originally on, which I do have technically in one of these collections. But here's this. So this is the greatest hits version of Metal Gear Solid 1. 2-disc game, right? My friend, one of my very dearest friends, showed this game to me because it was so cool. I didn't have a PlayStation at the time, and and what's funny is all he did was run around and show me the cool stuff because his brother had beaten it, or I think they beat it together, but his brother had done the story, so he had all this stuff to show me, and that was a really special day. I think it was. I want to say it was like a snow day or something. Anyway. This, I don't know what this is. I mean, look at this. It's the first game for the PlayStation. It's the same version. I mean, it's not have anything extra, as far as I know. It's got cool cover art. It's weird. It's like taller. No, those are the same size. It's pretty much the same size. I guess I don't know if this is from another region or not. I haven't checked that out. It's got the full manual like that. This one, I don't have the manual, like a sideways manual, like a landscape manual, the square manual. I have this rectangle one though. Of course, Kojima. I need to cross that name out, take the name off the game. Hideo. Pretty sparse. Among enemy alertness level. You can just hear the bling right now, right? Game over. Codec frequencies. You gotta love. So when they remade the first one put it on the GameCube, which blew me away that they would even do that. Kojima and Kojima Productions, everybody who works on these games, just couldn't be more blown away. They added hours of cutscene footage, which frankly I think was stellar, but classic metal. But of course, that does. I mean, they're long cutscenes, longer than the ones in the first one. Of course, they look better, and there's more action. That's why they're longer. But that gets old sometimes. Reinvented. So it's also, I really have not played the original PlayStation 1 very much. I did beat this one when I used to have my GameCube back in the day. I still have a GameCube. I got a GameCube now too again. Yeah, and it's 2.5 midnights now. I don't know if you knew that. 2.5 minutes to midnight. And all of these games are about nuclear warfare and terrorism and things like that. It's got 2 discs, 2 little baby discs. I love the GameCube baby discs. Oh, look at, oh, so good, baby disc. What are you? Okay. Because really, the graphics in the first one, for instance, nobody has any eyes. There's like a shadow over everyone's eyes. It's an interesting design choice. Obviously, they did things. They worked with the system they had. They did what they had to do. And of course, the PlayStation has better graphics than Nintendo 64, for instance. So, I kind of got these out of order, I feel like. Of course, this didn't come out until... I want to say this didn't come out until after the third one came out. So then I have 2 copies of Metal Gear Solid 2, the one everyone hates, but is, of course, actually a great game. Don't look at that price. This would be the original one. This is the Xbox port. Again, very surprised that happened or came out. I have beaten this game. I think I beat it on PS2, but it might have been on Xbox. And this is Substance, which has... I'm missing, like the NES, Metal Gear 1 and stuff, and I'm missing the PlayStation VR missions. It's like a standalone. It's like an expansion pack. And this is like an expansion pack, too. Plus, it's a port with the original game. Can't read these for some reason. I want to say it has multiplayer. Come on. Oop, no. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, it's got this extra Substance exclusive, so hell yes. Kojima and the people he works with and everything deliver every time so much. with their games, with the series. And they've been doing it for decades. You know, Metal Gear Solid 1. Metal Gear Solid 1, great sequel. Metal Gear Solid 2, great sequel. Metal Gear Solid 3, great sequel. Metal Gear Solid 4, I guess we're up to like prequel? Great sequel. Metal Gear Solid 5, great sequel. That's completely unheard of. I mean, nope, don't look at that. Especially outside of Japan. You know, not including like Call of Duties. Of course, Call of Duties totally, you know. So this has, once again, like I said, they deliver so hard. Other developers, other people do not do this. This is a, see, I'm missing Metal Gear Acid, which is a card game, sort of, for the PSP. I don't have a PSP. That would be cool to have. This is a PSP game, ported to Metal Gear Solid, to the 360 for this version. And then, of course, they have a port of the third one, the second one. And I think they're in HD, but that's the only improvement. Third game, phenomenal. I don't have the third one on PS2, and I don't have the remade third one that came with multiplayer that I never did get to play because my PS2 broke and I didn't have the online at the time and things like that, so I never even bought a copy of it. Of course, I had a copy of the first release of Metal Gear Solid 3 and did beat that. I really need to get into this though because it's been a while. 3 is so hard to pick up, but it's so worth it. I mean, it's amazing. It's unbelievable. Also, I forgot to mention this somehow, because I look at the box art so often, or at least I used to, and read the manuals. I love video game manuals. Everyone does. People just acted like they didn't because they wanted to save money and time, not having them. But so there's a part in the game where you're like, notice how there was that codec frequency list in the manual for the PlayStation 1 version. But you have to look at the back. Spoiler alert. You have to look at the back of this to get the codec frequency to call at some point in the game. And they do a lot. They screw with you, the player, in just the best ways. I don't know. I mean, and if you get pissed off by something like this, once you find it out, I mean, it's, no hard feelings, right? Just not good. This is like looking at it with my glasses off. Like, what the? It won't focus. Obviously, I don't know how to do this. Anyway, you have to look at the box by chance. Oh, that is really tiny. Oh my goodness. Meryl, what are you wearing? So, Metal Gear Solid 4, I did beat this also. There's a lot of games that I have not beaten, but these I have for obvious reasons. Got the mustache. This was supposed to be the last one. And that Kojima and his employees and his coworkers, the only people I would forgive for making the last game and then doing a sequel. Metal Gear Solid 5 is such a good game. And Metal Gear Rising, I haven't beaten this, but it was fun so far. It's kind of, there was of course a minigame in Metal Gear Solid 3 that they made that was like a prototype for this. So I need to beat this. And I've never had any problem with Raiden myself. Like the way he does cartwheels instead of roll. I think they did new and interesting things. Other developers, cough cough, some of the Call of Duty ones, they try to do that, but they can't. They can't pull it off, can they? At least, certainly not as good as Kojima. What the heck is this? I remember I was at work and somebody told me this guy was really surprised that he was into Metal Gear Solid. I'm always surprised when someone's into Metal Gear Solid because it's famous, but it's not for everybody. And it's widely appreciated, but again, not for everybody. So he said that this was coming out, and this is like it's like a demo. I had no problem paying for it, although he did, but I don't blame him for wanting to return it, because he was like, yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5's coming out like tonight. And I was like, no, it's not. There's no way, because I know how long it takes them to make those games and things. And he meant this, which is interesting, kind of like the demo for Dead Rising 2, which I also played, or like Fable pub games that you could get on Xbox Live Arcade. So that was cool. I liked it. I really didn't like it a hell of a lot. Definitely David Hayter. Is that how you say the name? The guy who does the voice work for Metal Gear for Snake, with Metal Gear Solid 1 being the first one with voices. It's like fully voiced even. Probably couldn't do that on the N64. Amazing voice actor, at least, especially for playing Snake, and aka Big Boss in the past and stuff. So I haven't beaten 5 yet. I have it for the PS4 that I need to start over on. and beat it. I have the PS3 edition right here. I picked up the PS4 one used for a lot. It was cheap. It was awesome. So I also have, and went ahead and got Ground Zeroes for PS4 also. I don't think I even got halfway through the story, even though I was like, you know, dozens of hours or like 100 hours in, because the gameplay is just so much fun. You just get on there and you can spend hours just playing free roaming, you know. And technically, and you can, that's what my friend originally showed me with Metal Gear Solid 1, which I was skeptical of 5 just because I didn't, you know, I wasn't going to get my hopes up, although at the same time I was not having my hopes down because 4, great sequel, 3,